Hey guys, it's Ken Maxfield, the Hide Guy. I am the owner and managing editor of the Maxfield Report, and this is our market recap for the week ending March the 6th. Of course, everything around the world is focused around the coronavirus, and it's certainly taking its toll on a number of industries, and especially the hide market. This week saw Packers enter the week with widespread opinions of most pundits that they possessed large offer list, number of selections offered. In fact, every selection they probably make. These are accompanied by reports towards the end of last week that Packers were approaching some of their old friends and asking them to please give them a number on anywhere from 36, 48, 60 boxes, immediate shipment. Of course, that fueled rumors that they were willing to sell at levels well below levels that were being reported to the various reporting services. So that said, it didn't appear that there was enough business done. Again, a lot of offers the start of this week as to asking prices. Some of the Packers opted to leave their asking prices unchanged. Others decided to lower their price in an effort to move their asking prices closer to where they were actually trading at. As far as interest this week, the good news is there seemed to be more bids this week than there was last week. Even bids coming out, or even more bids now coming out of China. Of course, not equal to a normal week, but it's refreshing to see that there is life starting to show in China, and that there is business, slowly starting to get back to normal levels. So we'll keep our fingers crossed as far as sales for the week. There was, a little back and forth between buyers and sellers until about the 2/3 through the week. Limited number of sales, maybe even moderate numbers of sales. But the good news is, towards the end of the week, we were hearing some of the Packers were refusing to sell at prices they had taken previously, telling buyers who are coming in for maybe a second taste that no, we're good, we don't need to sell anymore. This is leading to thoughts, and I agree that maybe Packers have got themselves okay for the next 2-3 weeks, hoping that, come by April, things will even be a little better. In fact, if you try to talk about April sales with Packers, of course, they want nothing to do with current trading levels. They are looking that they think this thing's going to turn around and be better prices come in April. So we'll see what happens there. As far as the cowhide market, very similar situation. Producers entered the week with offer lists that appeared to be fairly well populated. Large numbers, immediate shipment, asking prices down roughly $1 from the week prior. As far as interest, it wasn't nearly as sources share that they did not see as many bids as the big Packers did, that a lot of guys were picking around the edges. Business was difficult to conclude. Long story short, after a lot of massaging and manipulation by the sellers, there was some business concluded. Widely agreed it was not close to how many cows were harvested this week, and prices were at least $1 lower, if not even $2 on some selections. So a tough week for the guys producing cow hides. As far as the harvest last week, it just continues to roll. Packers are making, by those who count the Packers money, roughly about $100 a head. The number last week was 647. That compares to 627 a week ago, 607 a year ago. So we are about almost 100,000 head higher than we were a year ago on one less day of harvest. We're at 1.6% higher. We aren't aware of anybody who was forecasting numbers like this. On the average, we are knocking almost 26,000 more head every week than a year ago. So one of the markets that is able to defy the coronavirus is the box beef market, and Packers are not acting as if they have any intention on slowing down anytime soon. And keep in mind, this is Lenten season. We're not supposed to be seeing great beef demand. So keep that in mind here. As far as the export report, actually came in a little better than what people were thinking. Net sales for the week on wet salted hides were 328,000. That was down 8%, but there was a lot of forecasts by various pundits that it would be much lower than that. The shipment of whole cattle hides was excuse me, here at 321,000. And, that was down only 2%. And the widespread opinion of most folks is that we were going to see smaller shipments because of issues and problems with steamship companies and empty containers and vessels not sailing and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that was encouraging that we saw that on the wet salted side. On the wet blue, almost 117,000 wet blue sold. That's 6% lower than the week prior, but it is up 32% on the 4-week average. So that is a positive. And on the shipments, we actually moved 133,000 wet blue, which was down 24% from the week prior, and it's down 7% for the 4-week average. So again, 7% down on wet blue shipments is not that big of a deal considering how tough it is for guys to book product and to get it moving. So quick trip around the world. Our friends in Brazil tell us that they had bounced up their kill there after signing the agreement with China about trying to ship more beef there to help them out with their African swine fever. Of course, the coronavirus is affecting that market. They've had to back off their kills. As far as hides, they're feeling the underlying lower tone of the U.S. market. They've had to take a little bit lower levels for their fresh hides. We haven't got confirmation yet of wet blue hides trading lower. A lot of chatter that it already has and unconfirmed reports that it has. So we'll keep an eye on that, but I think that market's going to certainly follow our market lower. Our friends in Europe, they've got a bit of a different situation than we do. Obviously they don't harvest as many hides on a weekly basis as we do. Their number one market for their hides is Italy. Italy, although some tanners in the north are closed, Arzignano is still open. Now, if that market would happen to close because of coronavirus, then European tanners would be suffering the same fate as a lot of these U.S. tanners because, most of our hides go to China. So you cut that Italy market off from Europe, then they're about in the same boat as they would be in the States. That said, prices relatively steady. Exchange rate fluctuation did result in a little change in prices, but that's only because of currency exchanges there. Our friends in Australia have been able to hold prices steady, and that's because there's fewer animals coming to harvest than what most were anticipating. They are encountering the same struggles as we are. Not enough demand coming out of China, but with the number of animals coming to harvest and higher live cattle prices down there, packers aren't so inclined to bring as many animals to harvest. So a very precarious, soft steady down there, I would say. So as far as next week, that one, my friends, you're going to have to check into the website. I offer free 14-day trials. I'm the only service that doesn't require you to give me a credit card to do a trial. So go to the website, www.themaxfieldreport.com, and look for the banner, bottom of the page. Keep in mind, I am the only analyst that has ever traded a cattle hide. All of the other analysts reported on cattle hides have done it for only months, maybe a year and a half. You want to trust your information to folks like that, that's your call. But check out my website. You'll see why my report is by far superior. So that's it for now. Ken Maxwell, the Hide Guy, and we'll talk to you again soon.